Hi all, welcome to Edumonk. Today we are covering today's newspaper that's in September 20 and 21st of 2024. The first news, actually, which is from the newspaper September 20. This is the most important news in that September 20th Hindu newspaper. It is related with the election in Jammu and Kashmir. The Jammu and Kashmir election, the first phase of Jammu and Kashmir election that happened in last Wednesday. This is a news which is related to that particular election. In this topic, we have to understand why this Jammu and Kashmir election is so important. What's the difference between the previous election and uh, the current election? First of all, we can talk with Article 370. The Jammu and Kashmir has a special status till 2019. In 2019, the government come with a new abrogation with Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, which taken off the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, the Jammu and Kashmir divided into two parts. That's two union territories. That is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So, actually, in the previous part, Jammu and Kashmir was a state. Now, when now itself the election happens, it's not a state; it's just a union territory. Union territory with a legislative assembly. So, before the abrogation of Article 370, we had two union territories with legislative assembly. That is Delhi and Puducherry. Now the Jammu and Kashmir come to its own list. So after the 2018 Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act, which created two kind of union territories, that is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Jammu and Kashmir with a legislative assembly, and the Ladakh with a uh, non-legislative assembly or direct control of the central government or the governor or governor. This kind of thing, that means a state to union territory, which is happened due to the act of or article of Indian Constitution, Article 3, as a part of Article of 3 of Constitution, which deals with the formation of new states and alteration of areas. Alteration of areas. That's why after the abrogation of Article 370, two union territories were formed, which can be formed in an existing states. Which can be formed in an existing state. Then there is a transfer from state to union territory. It's occupation of state to union territory. While come to union territory, we have to understand another one article, Article 239, which deals with the administration of union territory. In this, the article states that every union territory shall be administrative by the president, acting so such an extent he thinks to fit through an administrator. In here, so most of the union territories were under the direct control of president. But here, the Jammu and Kashmir, it's with an legislature, and Ladakh without a legislature. So Ladakh is directly under the control of president. And while come to the Jammu and Kashmir, Section 3, we have to know the Section 13 of 2019 Act, or Article 239A. which states that the creation of local legislature or council of minister or both for creation of union territories, which provide for the administration of union of Puducherry shall also apply for the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Actually, Delhi and Puducherry. In Delhi, that's only the union territory with the legislature, which is dealt with separately with the constitution. But before 2019 or 2018, the legislatures of these kind of union territories were so less. There was two kind of judgments from Supreme Court on 2018 and 2023. With the help of that, the legislature power of Delhi and Puducherry, that means legislature with union territories with the legislature, that power were increased to maintain the democracy of the particular state and uh, also support the citizen of that particular state. Uh, Before that, we have to, in these kind of union territories, we know union territory with the legislature, union territory without legislature. In this union territory without the legislature, which was directly under the control of president, and in union territory with the legislature, there should be the representatives of people and lieutenant governor. Lieutenant governor. In this union territory with legislature, while considering Delhi, it's a capital of our India, so that Delhi constituency or Delhi union territory, there are specific powers which were vested in central government that will be acted by the lieutenant governor. That's police, public order, and land. These were vested in lieutenant governor with direct control of the central government. It's not the part of state government or union territory government. But in 2018 and 2023 Supreme Court order gives some powers to these union territory legislature for controlling the policing and the public order in that particular union territory. After the election, after the Jammu and Kashmir election, these Jammu and Kashmir, the particular union territory with legislature, comes under the same kind of category of Delhi. We know that there are different kinds of terrorist attack uh, and different kinds of activities, illegal activities were happening in Jammu and Kashmir, so that there should be a lieutenant governor, and most of the public order, policing, and land should be under the control of central government. For this, uh, there are many kinds of articles which are supporting this kind of activity in our constitution, so that it's bringing a peaceful life in that particular Jammu and Kashmir region. Then we can move to another news, which is in September 21, 2024. Here, the Bombay High Court strikes down the center's amendment of IT rules. Okay, first of all, we have to understand what is this kind of IT rules, and here you have seen a word that is fact checked unit. We have to understand what is fact check unit and why this kind of laws were strikes down. We can look into that. This fact check unit means the central government, as a part of IT rules 2023, formed a setup or a group that means it's a fault fact check unit to identify the fake and false Also the misleading information about government and its establishment on social media. So the role of the government about the fact check unit, or set up a fact check unit which directly attacking on social media and also the freedom of speech. Then here may arise a question that actually the laws are made by the parliament. How these kind of laws can be struck down by a court? First of all, you have to understand, uh, laws are made by parliament, but these are subjected to judicial review. These are subjected to judicial review. If I am a petitioner about a particular law which was passed by the parliament, I have to come to I have to go to the Supreme Court. From there, I can make this law on the judicial review of that particular Supreme Court. The complete burden lies on me. That means petitioner. That was that is my role. I have to prove that is the law is unconstitutional. There are different kinds of law which was passed by Supreme Court, and after that that were struck down by the Supreme Court. You may know aware about the uh, farmers bill. uh, there are different kinds of examples were there, but in this case this is not completely passed by the parliament. These laws were brought down by Ministry of Information Technology and in Ministry of Information Technology. So the Supreme Court can strike down the laws which were passed by the Ministry of Information Technology. Then why these kind of laws were struck down? That's an another question. Here there are different kinds of news are spreading on your social media. It can be YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, any kind of social media. But there were misleading informations are there, false allegations are there, false news were there. The government, actually the Ministry of Information Technology is planning to identify that particular news or misleading information and brought them to the court. In this, the government should planning to make a fake uh, FCU under the PIB, Press Bureau of India, and identify those persons who are spreading the misleading information. But here is an issue there. Actually, this FC is planning to identify the false news against the government. So there can be any kind of issues while in the freedom of speech. The court identified that this law directly influences the Article 14, Article 19, and Article 21. As a democratic country like India, every citizen have the right to uh, express his own views. That's a mandatory thing. The government can't curtail these kind of activities as a part of it's a fake news or other thing. Government has other option. If any kind of fake news or false news is spreading, they can directly contact the particular social media. That means it's in Twitter or Facebook or WhatsApp, anything, and they can collect the information from there and take action against that particular persons. But in this law, it's directly infringing the rights of a citizen. That way this Supreme Court, sorry, High Court strike down the law of this law about the FCU. We can go to next news, that is Indus Water Treaty. Actually, this topic were covered in our September 19th session. If you want to know about this, you can watch that particular video. Then we can move to next topic, that is amending of IT rules. We were actually discussed about this. Then another is SEBI allows to mutual funds to sell CDS to boost corporate bond inflows. In this thing, we have to understand what is CDS, where it is working. That's our major topic. Here you may aware about what is mutual fund and what is SEBI. Before understanding the credit default swap or CDS, you have to understand what is alternate investment fund, that is AIFs. Actually, the alternative investment fund that refers to any private pooled investments or investment fund. It can be in Indian source or foreign source. It can be include the angel fund or commodities, real estate, venture capital, or private equity. So it can be, we can say that the alternative investment fund is a private pooled fund. That's only. Actually, these kind of alternative investment funds, which are defined in the regulation of 221 part B of SEBI regulation, SEBI regulation 2021. Then, what's the relation between the alternative investment fund and the CDS or credit default swap? That we have to understand. Actually, this credit default swap or CDS, it's a kind of insurance. That means there is a buyer and seller. If a particular person or a particular buyer buying any kind of alternative investment fund and some kind of financial breakdown happens to that fund or the value of fund is reduced, that time or any kind of uh, crash which were happened to that particular fund, the seller should compensate the buyer. That's known as credit default swap. So we can say that it's kind of a financial swap arrangement which in the buyer is compensated by the seller in the event of debt default or any other kind of credit event. Simple, it's an insurance. We know that you may heard about the company JP Morgan. They also introduced these kind of insurance schemes. These kind of CDS which can be used for speculations and hedging, also as for used for it's a form of abrogation, This CDS is new. It's not new to the society. You may heard about 2008 Great Recession and 2010 recession or European sovereign debt crisis. These kind of events, actually the CDS played a greater role to support each of the buyer's assets. Then how the CDS can be used? That's a question. In this CDS, a particular buyer buys a particular alternative investment fund. That time they are paying for an insurance, that is CDS. In exchange of that, if any kind of default occurs, the seller will return the financial assets or money to that particular buyer. This is the process of credit default solved. It can be used as a very big financial tool in our market. The next news is coffee exporters I 60% from the value added beans. So we know that India is growing coffees, I think, or coffee beans in a large number. The export value added to the coffee beans projected is 60% of total coffee exports in volume of 2014. Here we have to understand the history of coffee, where it's growing, what is the ideal condition of growing of coffee, and other things. First of all, we have to understand why coffee is important for India. We can we can go for some kind of statistics. Uh, India is the sixth largest producer of coffee. World's first is Brazil, then Vietnam, then Colombia, then Indonesia, then Ethiopia. After India is the sixth largest producer of coffee. Actually, coffee were not native to India. It was introduced in India during the 17th century. There's a story there that's it was come from Yemen through smuggling. An Indian pilgrim in 60s, 70s, in an Indian pilgrim who is coming from Yemen, he was smuggled 7 coffee beans from Yemen and which were planted in India. After the coming of Dutch in India during the 17th century, they were played a crucial role in the spread of coffee beans or coffee cultivation. And in the 19th century, the period of British Raj, the coffee farming is fully flourished and which is commercialized. Okay, then we can go to what are the ideal condition of coffee cultivation. Predominantly, these coffees are naturally growing under thick shader. These are mostly cultivated in ecologically sensitive regions of the western and eastern Ghats. And the coffee plantation located in this particular region is known as the biodiversity hotspot. We have to look into the export and import of export and domestic consumption of our coffee. Approximately 65% to 70% of coffee produced in India is exported. So this coffee export is giving a huge revenue to our Indian economy. Then we have to look into the climatic condition which is ideal for the coffee cultivation. That is, temperature is around 50 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius. Rainfall is ideal is 150 centimeter to 250 centimeter. There are some harmful conditions for the coffee cultivation: frost or snowfall or high temperature above 30 degrees or strong sunlight which can completely collapse the cultivation of coffee. Then soil, ideal soil which can be well drained loamy soil that is ideal for the cultivation of coffee. There should be a presence of humus and minerals. Then, if you are looking to the distribution of coffee cultivation, you can see location in Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh in Araku Valley, then Odisha, Mizoram, and northeastern states. The specialty of this region is these are most hilly regions. So the coffee cultivation is mostly conducted in these kind of hilly regions. Then uh, in this, Karnataka is the largest producer of coffee. That means 70% of total production in India comes from the Karnataka region. There are different kinds of variety of coffee that can be Arabica or Robusta. Then we can move to another thing, that is Coffee Board of India. There were a prelims question which were come from the about the Coffee Board previously. So the Coffee Board of India, it's a statutory organization. Statutory organization. Okay, which were constituted under Section 4 of Coffee Act 1942. Coffee Act 1942. This Coffee Board of India directly under the administrative control of Ministry of Commerce and Industry under Government of India. And this board has 33 members, which includes chairperson, chief executive and functions executive and other members. And this Coffee Board of India, which is functions from Bangalore. So the Coffee Board of India, they are located in Bangalore. This major role of this Coffee Board of India is it is mainly focused on the areas of research, extension, development, market intelligence, external and internal promotion for the coffee. These are the important news from September 20 and 21st. You can research more on this subject. It will there are many chances to come to a prelims question from these kind of topic like coffee and other kind of crops. So thank you all. Happy learning.